When Emma reconnected with Daniel, she told herself it was innocent. They had once been close in college, but that was years ago. Life had moved on. She was now married to Ryan, a kind and steady man who had stood by her through every challenge. When Daniel reached out through social media, she convinced herself it was harmless to reply. She never mentioned to Ryan that Daniel was her ex-boyfriend. Instead, she referred to him as an old friend, thinking it would avoid unnecessary tension. Their chat started casually, updates, memories, and harmless jokes. But soon, the messages grew more personal. Daniel reminded her of who she used to be, carefree and spontaneous. Ryan, meanwhile, had become focused on work, always tired, and emotionally distant. Emma began to crave the attention Daniel gave her, the way he made her feel seen again. One evening, when Ryan was away on a business trip, she met Daniel for coffee. One meeting turned into several, and soon, lines blurred between past and present. After that night, Emma tried to convince herself it was just a mistake. She thought she could hide it, bury it, and move on. But guilt is never silent for long. A month later, she discovered she was pregnant. At first, she was overjoyed. She and Ryan had been trying for a baby for years. But then came the doctor's words. "You're expecting twins." Suddenly, excitement turned to fear. Emma's mind raced. The timing didn't make sense. She couldn't tell who the father was. Ryan was thrilled when she told him the news, lifting her in his arms with tears in his eyes. "This is the best thing that's ever happened to us," he said. Emma smiled weakly, feeling the weight of her secret grow heavier with every heartbeat. Weeks passed, and the guilt began eating away at her. Every ultrasound, every nursery plan, every baby name discussion, all of it was built on a lie. Daniel, unaware of the pregnancy, messaged her occasionally, still flirting, still hinting at something deeper. Emma ignored him, hoping silence would make him fade away. But secrets have a way of finding their voice. One afternoon, Ryan came home early, holding Emma's phone in his hand. "Who's Daniel?" he asked quietly. Her heart sank. She tried to explain, stumbling over words, saying it was just a friend from college. But Ryan had already read the old messages, the ones filled with affection and longing. He looked at her as if she were a stranger. The silence that followed was unbearable. Ryan didn't yell. He just stood there broken, as if the life they built had turned to dust before his eyes. He packed a small bag and left without another word. That night, Emma cried until dawn, clutching her stomach, whispering apologies to the twins growing inside her. Days turned into weeks, and Ryan didn't return. She sent messages, called, even went to his office, but he wouldn't see her. The house felt emptier each day, filled only with echoes of laughter that once belonged to a happier time. When her belly began to show, she realized she would be facing motherhood alone. Daniel reached out again when he saw one of her maternity photos online. He guessed the truth almost immediately, asking, "Are they mine?" Emma didn't answer. Deep down, she didn't want him involved, not out of anger, but because she knew he represented everything that went wrong. She didn't want her children tied to a past built on mistakes. Her pregnancy became her punishment and her redemption at once. The loneliness was crushing, yet it forced her to grow stronger. She started working from home, preparing for the babies, learning how to navigate the pain of betrayal, her own betrayal. The reflection in the mirror was no longer the carefree girl Daniel once knew or the wife Ryan once adored. She was someone else now, tired, wiser, and regretful. When the twins were born, Emma named them Hope and Grace, names that reminded her of what she had lost and what she still had left. Ryan didn't come to the hospital, though she had sent him a message. She cried when the nurse placed the babies in her arms, realizing they were innocent of everything that had happened. They didn't deserve the chaos their mother had caused. Months later, she received a letter. It was from Ryan. He said he needed time to heal, that he couldn't forgive her yet, but he wished the twins well. He enclosed a small check, a sign of care but not love. She held the letter for hours, reading it again and again, each word carving new pain into her heart. Now, as Emma rocks her twins to sleep each night, She lives with the ache of her choices. She imagines what life could have been if she'd been honest, if she had never let an old friend back into her world. The house is quiet, but the lesson echoes loudly. One lie, however small, can destroy everything you love. And in that silence, between the soft breaths of her babies, she finds a fragile kind of peace. Not from forgiveness, but from finally accepting the truth.